Did you know there's a place where roads look like they float on water? Just 10 kilometers from Kochi lies Kadamakuri, a cluster of 14 islands where cars seem to drive through a lake. These islands are shaped by how farmers practice pokkali cultivation, a unique form of rice farming where salt-tolerant rice is grown in brackish water. Then the same fields switch to prawn farming. One moment it's a city, next roads with water on both sides, all just 10 kilometers away from Kochi city. Welcome to Kaleidoscope with me, Savithri Rodrigo, where we take different roads to bring you stories that matter. From the Kaleidoscope studios, Lalith Gunaratne, the Kanchi experience, and this week's headlines fast in news in a blink. Discover how poetry can be worn, where silk becomes the stanzas and poetry becomes the weave. At Ridhi until the 27th of June. Legend surrounds the beautiful drape of the Kanchipuram sari. Its corvée joinery binds body and border like two stanzas woven into one rhythm. Zari threads shimmer with 24-karat gold over fine silver, carrying weight like hidden wisdom in Sangam's Iraichi. Its double warp weft silk gives strength and luster, echoing the effortless cadence of Akava meter. And its motifs mirror the Tennai landscapes of ancient poetry, where every symbol belongs to a world of meaning. Explore these wearable poems, saris that are heirlooms, offerings, legacies, woven with divine significance and human mastery. In that hush of silk, a poem awaits. On YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, Kaleidoscope brings you stories that matter. Follow, subscribe, and stay connected. Kaleidoscope is powered weekly by Selinco Live, CDB, and The Daily Morning, our partners who make these journeys possible.
Cool appetizer. Introducing CDB Self, the digital wallet that makes life easy.
And now it's our quick fire news headlines on CDB News in a Blink. Sri Lanka's GDP in the first quarter of 2026 is at 5.1%, driven by construction and finance. Sri Lanka launches a national export development plan embedding 6 cross-sector enablers and 8 priority sectors to drive export diversification. Advocate Nilchani De Silva, who has been on the show before, addresses the 19th session of the UN Conference on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And here's a quick snapshot on how the markets have fared this week. At the Colombo Stock Exchange, the all-share price index finally ticked upward after 3 months of stagnation, with daily turnover edging higher and, most importantly, foreign buying returning. Sri Lankans breathed easier as WTI oil slipped to $75.50 per barrel, while Reuters confirmed 3 supertankers carrying 6 million barrels of Middle East crude successfully clearing the Strait of Hormuz after months of being stranded. With energy bottlenecks easing and geopolitical tensions cooling, safe haven demand has softened, pulling gold down nearly $1,000 from recent highs to $4,330 per ounce. Smoke and Bitters becomes the first Sri Lankan venue to win the Michter's Art of Hospitality Award by Asia's 50 Best Bars. A woman in India gets married 3 times in 5 months to 3 different men.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Silico Life.
Research shows that children with engaged fathers grow up more confident and resilient. Yet, fatherhood often gets overlooked in parenting conversations. This Father's Day, Kaleidoscope Silico Life Dialogues shifts the spotlight to dads. Joining us is Lalith Gunaratne, entrepreneur, educator, and mindfulness practitioner who believes that parenting is the most important work we will ever do. Now, you list parent right at the top of your LinkedIn profile. What is your rationale?
I think that's the most noble undertaking that any person can take. And I feel that if you let that go, you let society go.
Do you think fatherhood has shaped your identity? How central is it to your identity, your personality? And do fathers actually know this?
I had to come into it uh, in a way where I was given space to really come to terms with it. It was hard. I give full credit to Samantha for making me understand that fatherhood it is important, because I'm a free spirit. I am a practical joker, and I did a few practical jokes on those kids, well meaning, and it nearly hurt them, right? So understanding that and taking that seriously, it was Samantha's doing. So I really give her all the credit. And since then, what's rewarded me most is that um, Sasha, eldest being 34 and the youngest being 27, they still talk to me and they respect me. We are more like friends now because of the relationship that we had, and that relationship was based on mutual respect. And I started that mutual respect from the time they were what 3-4 years old, giving them space, not ever threatening them. That way, I think we created a relationship based on trust, mutual trust, respect, and a lot of love. And I think that's the most important part that I learned, and it humbled me too as a father.
So you call fatherhood our most important work. Why do you think fatherhood, in particular, is less spoken about than motherhood?
The father's focus is external, so that's where the bond breaks, and then there's a lack of understanding. Is that relationship breaks down, and the father comes home and they lays down the rules and says things and threatens the kids and throws our own expectations on them, and our will on them. And I think that's where the relationship breaks down. It's also important then to understand the real different stages of life they're in. You know, their total dependency from the time they're born to about 3, 4, and then they start their own. They feel their own personality, and they get that ego self themselves, and they resist you. And to really understand those phases of their lives, and how it changes, and how when it comes to the teen years, it completely changes. We lose control. It's really hard work. It's a commitment and I knew it was a commitment, and I really cherished that relationship as they were going into the teen years, to keep that relationship alive, because the mother's relationship was naturally there, right? So I had to work extra hard to do that.
Do fathers say sorry?
I really felt a sense of liberation when I said sorry to my kids, to our kids. And I started that when they were 3, 4, 5 years old. And that has really strengthened the kids, because that's the most humble thing a man can do, to acknowledge that, yes, I made a mistake. And it's so liberating when you say sorry.
So, in today's fast paced world, what are the 3 things you would suggest for dads?
I would say become aware of your own emotions, become aware of yourselves. And that's where I believe I'm a great proponent of mindfulness and inward journey of through meditation, focus. And, so that's one of the most important things to do. Stop, take a deep breath, say, observe, and pause. The other one is not to ever threaten a child by saying, as long as you're living under my roof, you're living by my rules. That's the worst cop out for a father. You lose your power when you're doing that. Number 3 is always be open minded. There'll be things that will come our way. They'll do things, they'll bring people home that you don't quite like. Bite your lip and give it time. They'll find out for themselves that, this person that I'm now going out with is not a good person, not a good fit.
That's it this week. We'll be back with some more stories that matter next week.